President Assad asserts that Syria is not worried about the draft resolution about chemical weapons. And Syrian Arab Army continue to chase terrorist gangs in Homs. Iran refuses to enter negotiations about its nuclear file as a weak party and would never accept any threats or preconditions, according to Iranian officials. Good afternoon, this is news in English from the Syrian Arab television in Damascus. President Bashar al-Assad asserted that the Syrian Arab Army was built on the basis of traditional war, so it will suffer no harm by giving up its chemical weapons. In an interview with the Chinese television station CCTV, the president asserted that Syria called upon the United Nations Security Council 10 years ago to empty this region of all mass destruction weapons. The president said Syria would get nothing for giving up the chemical weapons. Cooperation with Russia continued in order to consolidate the Syrian arsenal, particularly in the field of air defenses, because the Zionist entity continued to occupy Syrian territories. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov announced that the Organization of Collective Security supports the efforts of the international community to solve the crisis in Syria. Addressing the meeting of the foreign ministers of the member countries in this organization, he said Russia was concerned about the situation in Syria and its negative impacts on the whole region and on the international law. He stressed the necessity to accelerate the efforts to solve the problem of chemical weapons. This would support the endeavors of the international community concerning Syria. Brigadier General Hossein Dahkan, Iran's Minister of Defense, asserted that Iran would never join negotiations about its nuclear file as a weak party, affirming that Iran would never accept any preconditions or threats. He said Iran's foreign policy was based on dignity, wisdom, and national interests. These principles in Iran's foreign relations would never change, saying that developments in this region and the world during the past few years had given America and its allies lessons that the harm of war would be much larger than its benefits. Security forces confiscated large quantities of drugs and explosive devices hidden in a vehicle at one of the entrances of Homs city. The captured materials included narcotic pills, night binoculars, and various types of ammunition in a Suzuki vehicle before it entered Homs. A unit of our armed forces killed 9 terrorists in Al-Ghajar village in Al-Rastan countryside. Another unit destroyed an anti-aircraft gun and a terrorist hideout in Al-Zafarana. 5 other hideouts were also destroyed, and the terrorists hiding in them were killed and wounded. A Syrian Arab Army unit clashed with terrorist groups in Jurat al-Shayyah, killing most of them. In Aleppo, Syrian Army units targeted the terrorist gatherings and hideouts near the central prison of Aleppo, in Khan al-Asal and in Al-Wadi village, killing many terrorists, including the 2 terrorists Mustafa Taha Misto and Usama Majd al-Hilu from Al-Nusra Front. Syrian Arab Army units also destroyed convoys of cars, killing all the persons inside them near Al-Nerab camp and Banan village. They also destroyed rocket launchers and mortar guns in Queris, Al-Jdeide and Rasm al-Aboud. Another army unit clashed with an armed terrorist group, killing all its members, and foiled a terrorist attempt to infiltrate into the secure areas in Al-Leramoun and the markets of Old City, killing many terrorists and injuring others. In a statement, Al-Asifa forces, the military wing of the Palestinian National Liberation Movement, Fatah al-Intifada, announced that it It is responsible for the operation carried out by the heroes of Al-Asifa forces in the city of Hebron yesterday, which killed an Israeli soldiers and injured 4 others near Al-Ibrahimi mosque in the city. No one was injured from Al-Asifa forces, according to the statement. As a result of the operation, Israeli settlers attacked Al-Meida neighborhood in the Old City in Hebron, while the Israeli occupation forces imposed a full siege on the city. Accordingly, Al-Asifa sources pledged in a statement to continue the armed struggle in order to liberate Palestine. After more than 2 years of supporting terrorists in Syria, Erdogan's government admitted that terrorists infiltrated into Turkish lands from Syria. President Abdullah Gül expressed grave concern about this in a meeting of the United Nations General Assembly while he attempted to wiggle out of his government's responsibility for facilitating terrorist acts in Syria. Now, however, he resorted to the pretext that it is very difficult for Turkey to stop these terrorists because its borders with Syria are more than 900 kilometers long. With this, we come to the end of our news for today. For more information and details, you can visit our website in English, www.syriaonline.sy. Stay with us, the latest in the world of markets and finance in our economic news, but after the break.
Good afternoon. Prime Minister Dr. Wael Al-Halaqi called upon the various departments and ministries to take the necessary measures to rationalize current and investment expenditure and to complete the projects that have a significant economic value, particularly in the ministries of Trade, Agriculture, Electricity, Oil and Health. In the meeting of the Higher Council of Social and Economic Planning, he discussed the efforts to prepare the general budget of next year. Dr. Al-Halaqi called upon the ministries to exert more efforts to provide citizens with all the basic necessities of life that would strengthen their steadfastness against the American Zionist plots targeting Syria. He pointed out that the national economy faces many difficulties and challenges under the unjust siege, foreign sanctions and sabotage activities at the hands of terrorist gangs. This made it urgent for everybody to work as a united team to overcome these challenges and to complete the process of construction and stability. The Ministry of Finance issued executive instructions of the law on adding 5% on direct and indirect taxes and fees for 3 years. This addition is called the National Contribution in Reconstruction. It is to be applied according to the text of the law. This addition is to be applied for those who have real profits starting from the year 2012, while it starts from the year 2013 for those who have other direct and indirect taxes and fees. The Minister of Agriculture and Agrarian Reform said that the price of the kilogram of seed cotton for the current agricultural season is 100 Syrian pounds for the first and the second categories during the harvest period, which continues until the end of the year. The ministry has recently clarified this matter to the Ministry of Industry that had previously asked for this clarification in order to take the necessary measures to buy the crop from the farmers without any delay. The real estate bank started selling the dollar in specific rates set by the Central Bank of Syria. The dollar selling operation, which is for intervention purposes, is the first of its kind during the current period, as the Commercial Bank of Syria has been recently dedicated for selling the euro. The real estate bank confirmed that the selling of the dollar began yesterday in its branch in Dummar, as it is the only branch which sells foreign currencies to the citizens, pointing out that there is a balance of $50,000 available in the bank, and this amount is enough to meet the demands of 100 citizens who want to purchase. Brent crude held above $109 a barrel, pairing earlier losses after robust manufacturing data from China lifted the outlook for demand from the world's second largest oil consumer. Shares and core Eurozone bonds carved out minor gains, as fresh concerns about the Federal Reserve's policy stance took the shine off an election triumph for Angela Merkel, and some upbeat Eurozone data. Gold edged lower, extending the previous session's sharp sell-off as confusion over the outlook for U.S. monetary policy weighed on prices. Spot gold was down 0.4% at $1,319.76 an ounce. The dollar held off 7 months in Asia, having found a bit of support after a top Federal Reserve official suggested there is a chance the central bank may scale back stimulus next month. The euro rose after German Chancellor Angela Merkel won a third term in office, and German, French and Eurozone private sector surveys came in better than expected. With this, we conclude our news. Thank you for watching us, and goodbye.